My name is Mr. Anderson. Today we're going to talk about Scout Comics, which is a publisher that I am in contract with to publish and to distribute Cat Dad and Supermom. I am also a comic book journalist for years. I've taken some time back, but over that time where I was away, this is a story I've been asked to cover by multiple creators, multiple fans, and multiple people. I wanted it to get out of the way that my book is out through them. And as a comic book journalist, I want to remind everyone that when I take on a story, I do my best to give you all the information that I've been given. I approached multiple people on this and was either told to talk to someone else because they weren't a general and only a sergeant, or I was not at all contacted after requesting more information or requesting a conversation. Like many creators, my emails have gone on end. This is going to be talking about the problems at Scout Comics. Before we get any further into this video, I do want to say this. Doing this over the last few years, I want to be clear that I have issues with some of the management for the decisions they made personally for me, where I do think that there was either some malice or jealousy or for some reason bad blood between me and the people who were making decisions. Some of that bad blood was stemming from me creating the Barbara Unleashed series, which I have literally at one point being told that I could no longer have it under my name and couldn't have that book on the same table as this book, or couldn't have this banner up while I had that book on the table. None of that was within my contract, and when I did not agree to it as a creator, not hiding what I create, no effort was put into my book from that point on. That is a reality. And if you were to ask me as a creator, am I bitter about it? Yes. Am I hurt by it? Heartbroken. They knew who I was. I didn't hide who I was. I've always had these different titles. The audacity of a person in management, not the entire company, I want to make that very clear, to tell me that I was limited as a creator. The same company, which is Scout Comics, that has a book called Shit Show, that they have promoted constantly, took an issue with me having a book called Barbara Unleashed, and you can see I'm emotional about it, making me stutter a bit. Barbara Unleashed, which is an educational comic book about an alternate lifestyle. I would have thought in 2020, when this happened, alternate lifestyles would have been more accepted, but I was punished for it. And I want that out in the open right now before I do the rest of this report. I don't want anyone to feel like I hid this as I give you the facts as I have obtained them. I want to make sure people know I am upset, I am angry over my treatment at Scout Comics, or Scoot, and I do think that there is egos involved in it, and I'll even go as far as to say that that art style is not the same art style as the original comic book, and I believe it was changed for malicious reasons. That is a belief that I can't back up, but as you can see, it was completely different. That art style wound up going to another book, and they're definitely an upset feeling on my behalf. I think this was a bullshit move. If it was done purposefully, I'll never know the truth of it. I know that the art style had a sudden shift, and that art style wound up on a Scoot book. With that said, I was very pleased. I thought the artist did a great job. I've never confronted the artist flat out about this. And the reason I haven't confronted the artist about it is I don't like being lied to my face. I don't want to put them in that situation other people already have. They did what they thought was right, and they did a wonderful job on the book. And if I'm a good enough writer, and this is the first time it was shown to me, that it was made clear to me after the artist told me that someone else had mentioned that my art style suddenly wound up, not my art style, but the art style from the original first issue, wound up in another book. And you'll see the contrast. Watch. However, both work, and if I'm a good enough writer, it should not matter what the art is. So I will work with other artists on this project, more than likely eventually. I don't hold any bad blood and have gotten to a point of forgiveness with it. I wanted this out in the open before I did this, so no one later points at this video and go, he had a chip on his shoulder. My chip is with the certain few people involved in this and not the whole company. I chose to stay quiet for the last couple of years while being dissatisfied, while feeling screwed over, because there were so many more people involved with this. And I do believe that, and I want to say this right now, that what happened was not malicious. And I only have really done investigative journalism for projects I did find that were malicious, and or companies as well, or people who are malicious. And I didn't find anything malicious here. Outside of what happened to me, I don't think there was anything malicious. And that was a personal drama problem, and I want to separate that right now before I go on. My problems were clearly personal, more than likely on both sides, and I can say that I didn't handle it the way I should have. Even 4 years later, I would have handled this whole situation differently. I was dealing with a lot. It's not an excuse. I screwed up, and I didn't handle it the way it should be handled. Now, with all of that in mind, here's what's going on with Scout. This isn't anything but from the mouths of creators, and I can verify the behaviors for myself. Scout is non-responsive to questions, especially about accounting. Scout has not paid creators. Scout does not put all the things into accounting. They should, like the plates they sell. Scout also no longer goes to Comic-Con conventions. They instead rely on Whatnot. Now, a caveat here, because I think it's important we're very clear. I believe that them not going to shows makes sense in a lot of ways. However, a lot of us signed up expecting them to go to shows and to get promotion from them. As a publisher, I've heard this repeatedly. My book is not being at all showcased. It's not being talked about. They don't do interview with creators unless you're in a inner circle or friends with the inner circle. Basically, it's sign up and be forgotten. Now, some of that feels very true on the surface. I will say that they have worked hard in Hollywood trying to get IPs actually noticed. So, what I believe happened, and this is just the truth, I believe that they found early success, grew very quickly, and lost control. I think they've done what they think is the best, and I think creators disagree. I think we found a situation where, again, a publisher's being non-responsive because they don't have the answers. As far as something being criminal, that's been thrown around. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge. I will say, I think contracts were broken. I do think Scout should offer everyone to be out of their contracts. They have not lived up to their end in many, many cases. With that said, I'm also told that there are people who are very happy with the company and happy with what's going on. I recently thought that all the people in charge suddenly got rid of the name and found out I was blocked by their social media account, which is funny because I only interacted with it once. And I interacted it when they were being called out, and I said, hey, does anyone want to talk about this? Asking for a comment, not adding fuel. And it's funny because when I started this process and asked to talk to other creators, I was told that I was stirring the pot just to stir it. I'm a creator that has gone through the same thing other creators have, and it is difficult. And as a creator, when you're not getting the support you signed up for, I do think it's unfair. Again, if you were to ask me, I don't think anything criminal has happened. I think money has been played with. I know they didn't give out reports like they promised they would in contracts. They haven't lived up to their end of their contracts. They also haven't been supportive of creators. I can tell you that from my point of view and from what I've heard from other people. I don't think they're an evil corporation. I don't think they're evil people. I think people made genuine mistakes. I don't think they're trying hard enough to change the mistakes, but I also think that they keep expecting something. There was supposed to be some sort of acquisition that does not seem to have happened in the summer, and when I asked for comment, I don't get it. When I send an email, I don't get a response, and this is what a lot of creators feel. The short end of it, if you're a fan of comic books, continue to buy from Scout Comics, because you're still supporting creators by getting our work out there. If you're someone in Scout Comics, return an email, give a public acknowledgement. Let us know what is going on or let us out of contracts.